To politics now in the parliament. Greater protections for workers will be included in the $130 billion JobKeeper legislation after the government struck an 11th hour deal with the unions. Businesses will be allowed to slash hours but will have to reach agreement before running down annual leave.
Touching down, the Air Force called in to transport politicians to Parliament as MPs prepare for a special scaled-back Wednesday sitting to pass the $130 billion wage subsidy plan.
Australians need the certainty of that lifeline for that next 6 months.
Over 700,000 businesses so far have registered for the $1,500 a fortnight payment as the ACTU strikes a deal with the government to provide safeguards for the IR changes.
So the outcome, I think, is very significant. It is temporary but critical changes to the Fair Work Act that will allow the $1,500 payments to lawfully flow.
3 major changes have been agreed to following negotiations. Employers will be able to lower the number of hours an employee works and also change the location and role if required. Workers will have to agree to take annual leave if requested by their boss, but they cannot unreasonably refuse, and total leave balances cannot be run down to less than 2 weeks.
For instance, if someone had 4 weeks leave and it was going to help the business to have the employer and employer agree to take 2 weeks of that leave, if someone viewed it as unreasonable, they could take that dispute to the Fair Work Commission.
The breakthrough a result of Christian Porter and ACTU Secretary Sally McManus's continuing collaboration. The Labor Party itself has largely been left out in the cold.
We're looking for solutions, not arguments. Doesn't really matter who's involved.
The fate of the most significant economic bill in modern Australian history, though, is not in question, as the opposition again reiterates its broad support.
The wage subsidy will go through tomorrow. The challenge is who's going to be left out.
Despite days of pressure, the government is holding the line, insisting that millions of casuals who haven't been with their business for over 12 months will miss out. Instead, the government says they can go onto the JobSeeker payment, which is notionally worth $400 less a fortnight.
Yeah, I think there's going to be an agreement to disagree on casuals.
Meaning Parliament will wrap up late on Wednesday night and politicians back on their VIP planes home come Thursday. Trudy McIntosh, Sky News, Canberra.
Stay at home this Easter weekend. That's the message from the Prime Minister as Australia charts its course through the coronavirus crisis. Modelling shows the nation is on the right path with social distancing. Australians shouldn't expect those restrictions to be relaxed anytime soon, though.
Combating the COVID-19 curve enters a new phase, Australia trying to maintain the upper hand in tackling the virus spread.
We must hold the course. We must lock in these gains.
As the Easter weekend approaches, a message for families tempted by holiday travel.
Stay at home. Failure to do so this weekend would completely undo everything we have achieved so far together.
Achievements including a low rate of new infections and community transmission below 10%, avoiding the human catastrophe unfolding in Italy, Spain, the UK and America.
We have so far avoided the horror scenarios that we have seen overseas.
Long-awaited international modelling shows Australia has kept the virus under control by closing our borders, shutting down businesses and enforcing social isolation among Australians.
By taking the measures we are taking, you can make a difference.
But a clear warning, now is not the time to relax those restrictions.
That's no time soon, I should stress.
Health officials also stressing the modelling used is an international snapshot, not based on Australian cases, with localised data still more than a week away.
It's too early to tell on the trend data we've got at the moment.
It will help us plan the way out.
A plan also finalised offering relief to commercial tenants and landlords. National Cabinet agreeing to rental reductions for small businesses forced to shut their doors.
Through a combination of waivers of rent and deferrals of rent.
The rules will apply to commercial tenants now eligible for the JobKeeper payment, and if they have a turnover less than $50 million, it'll now be up to the states and territories to legislate the mandatory code of conduct. Eliza Edwards, Sky News, Canberra.